Okay, so we are now looking at graphs and trying to identify the domain and range of the graphs. Remember, domain deals with all the x values that exist, and then range deals with all the y's. So if I look at this point, that point kind of looks like it's -3, +3. So I got -3, +3 as a point. Looks like I got, or +4, sorry about that. I know you guys are yelling at me right now. This next one looks like it's -2, +3. This next one looks like it's -1, +2. Looks like I got 0, 1 as a point, 1, 0 as a point, and then 2, -1 as a point. In this case, I don't really have a line, I just have specific points. So just to apply what we did before, the domain is the list of all the x values. So I got -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. That's my domain. That's all of my x values that exist for that graph. The range is the list of all the y's. So I got 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and -1. Remember, this is my x and y, so that's my domain and range for that graph. Now let's go to this next one here. This is a circle. I know this is not a function, but it still has a domain and range. Remember, this is not a function because I can draw a straight line down the middle and it has 2 points on it. So let's look at this. Let's look at the domain. Remember, domain deals with the x values, what's happening this way. So I'm going to choose a different color. You guys don't have to choose colors, but I like colors. So let's choose a green one. I want to highlight where it starts. It looks like my graph starts right here on the x values, and it goes all the way here. Everything between those two x values exists for that graph. How can I tell that? I'm just looking at the outline of my circle and saying, hey, is there a point here at 1, 0? Looks like there's one there and there. At 2, there's one there and there. 3, there's one there and there. 4, and everything in between. So if I look at this, all of my x values are between those 2 points. So it looks like my first x value starts off at 0, because that's where the x and the y-axis intersect. And it's going all the way to 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way to 4, and it's less than or equal to. All of my x values are between 0 and 4. Now let's deal with y. And we're going to go up and down for this one. And I'm going to choose a different color again because I just like color. Let's choose red. Now it looks like it starts right here and it goes all the way up here. So that's 1. I can see that there's 2 points there. 2, there's 2 points there. 3, there's 3 points, 2 points there. So it looks like it exists from all those points. So it looks like it's between 0 and 4 again. So all of my y values are between 0 and 4. Let's look at another graph here. Let's look at this domain. So it looks like it starts right here. And then I notice, hey, there's an arrow, which means it's pointing across. So it's going to keep going on and on forever. It's not going to get up or down, but it's going to go straight across. So I know that x is going to have to be larger than this point, which is -3. So I'm going to say x is greater than or equal to -3 because all of this is -3 and these are all of my x's this way. All of my x's are bigger than -3. So let's deal with y's. Looks like this is my smallest y right here, and it looks like my tallest or my largest one is right up there. So it looks like all of my y's are between those 2 points. Between, looks like that's -3, all the way up to 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like all of my y's are between -3 and 4. So my range is going to be between -3 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 4. All right, let's look here. Domain again deals with x. So I'm looking, here's my first x value. Here's my last. And these are all in between. So it looks like this is my smallest one. That's my largest one at 0. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. all of my x's are between those. So I got from -5 to x to 0, less than or equal to. Now if we look at y, what happens with y? Looks like it's going from here to here, all the way straight down. That looks like it's -2, I don't know why I wrote down 3, all the way down, -3, -4, -5, -6. So all my y's are between -2 and -6. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to ask you guys to try the next couple, and then we'll talk about it. Hopefully you guys are pausing the video for me. And when you guys are done with the last two, just try them, and then we're going to talk about them, okay? All right, so looking at this graph here, this one's a little bit different than the other ones. So let's see what happens here. Looks like I have an x value right here for domain, and it's going this way to 5. It doesn't look like there's an arrow. So it looks like it's between 2 and 5. X is between 2 and 5. So I would say that 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 5 is true. Now, it also looks like it's going this way from -2 to -5. So I would say and -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to -5. It's between -5 and 2. Okay? Now let's deal with range. Range looks like it's starting off right here and going straight up to about 2. So that's y. And I would say that 0 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 2. Now let's look at this one. It looks like it's going up and going down. So what I'm going to say about this one, and I know this is a little tricky, I'm going to say it's all numbers. Okay, more specific, yeah, it's all numbers, or some people call us all real numbers. The reason why that's the case, guys, is that as it's going up, it's going diagonally this way, so it's going to keep going that way. It's going to go all the way this way. And it looks like this one's going to go all the way that way. That's why it's all reals for that. The range is going up and down, so I'm going to say all numbers. Or all reals too. All right. I'm going to talk about this activity that you guys are going to do in a second, but I'm just going to pause.